again. I'm Jody Costa, Vice President of Marketing for Barcoding Incorporated. Barcoding is a supply chain automation and innovation company, and we're dedicated to efficiency, accuracy, and connectivity. That's why today we're trying something brand new, super exciting with this Coming to You Live event. We really want to celebrate all the innovation in our industry, and we wanted to start with our good friends from Honeywell. So come with me, we're going to get started. We're broadcasting live right now, so I'm not making any of this up, there's no script. Broadcasting live from Baltimore's headquarters in Maryland, or Barcoding's headquarters in Maryland, and we're going to go to the conference room and find Honeywell. So come with me, and we're going to get started. If you have any questions today as we're going through, you can use the chat function. So feel free to go ahead and put those questions in the chat as we explore all the innovations that Honeywell has to come. So come on in, conference room here at Barcoding's headquarters. And we are live now with GW Hall from Honeywell. GW, do you want to give us a little sneak peek of what we have to come today?
Sure, Jody, thank you. We're excited to be here, myself here at Barcoding headquarters. We're going to go out to remote locations with Scott Stelter, who's our Director of Offering Management for a new product NPI launch with us. We're also going to go to Mark DeSoms, who's going to take us through the different scan engines that Honeywell has to offer and when you would choose one of those. So, and then at the end, I'm going to take you through the flexibility of our CT40 in the accessories and how to maximize that device. So really looking forward to it today.
Sweet. Thank you so much, GW. So our first location is actually with Mark DeSoms. So Mark, if you want to join me on camera right now, we'd love to go to you live. So tell us, a little bit about yourself. Tell us about your location where you're filming, and then what you have in store for us today.
All right, fantastic. I am coming to you live from Honeywell's Johns Creek, Georgia's world headquarters, my basement. And you can see me here, but what I'm going to be walking through is the different scan engines we have in our industrial scanners. And I've got barcodes set up in different distances. There's one here to demonstrate close range. And there's another one, set of barcodes here. These are 20 mil code 128s at about 6 feet. And then there's some more barcodes up here at about 15 feet. Unfortunately, I couldn't get out to 30. I'd have to open the door and then chaos would erupt. But I'd like to have shown some longer range, but this will help. This will demonstrate some of the differences in the different scan engines that we have. So you're not going to see my face in this, and I apologize, but you will see scanners, and we'll see me scanning. So what we got is our newest scanner. This is the Granite 1991. There's an SR, which stands for standard range. There's an XR, which stands for extended range. And then we have a Granite called a 1981. These are all Bluetooth, by the way. There's a tethered version, but we're only talking about Bluetooth. And this is called an AR. So you got SRs, XRs, and ARs. And it's tough to keep track of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate the different engines and when you would use them. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take an SR. We're going to scan a bunch of good barcodes. These are good barcodes, by the way. They're not bad barcodes. That's a different presentation. And we're going to scan those same barcodes with the XR, which stands for extended range. And then we're going to scan those same barcodes with the AR. And then we're going to do it again with these mid-range barcodes and do it again with these long-range barcodes. And you'll see the differences in the scan engines. And I'll explain some other differences that aren't necessarily tied to their performance. And then at the end, I'm going to wrap it up with, why these Granite scanners are so cool. All right, so here goes. First round, SR. Again, close-up barcode scanning. Just kind of listen to the speed. That's what you need to look at here. All right, that was the SR. That was the XR, and I know you're going, that sounded just like the SR. Hold that thought. Here comes the 1980. This is the AR, the long range scanner, some people call it. All right, so here's what's going on. The point that I'm trying to make with the short range scanning is that the SR, and the reason I know it's an SR is because it says so right there, scans up close just as well as the XR. They're identical in performance up close. The 1981 full range isn't quite as aggressive up close because there's a sweet spot for this device because it's really, it excels in very long range, 50, 60 feet. Still scans pretty well up close, but not as well as the SR and the XR. So now we're going to go to this mid-range. This is about 6 feet out. I'm going to start again with the SR. You'll notice nothing happened. This is out of the range of the SR. Now we're going to go to the XR, which, as you remember, scans just as well up close as the SR. All right. Now we're going to go with the 1981, the all range. All right. So what you notice is that these two scanners, the 1981 and the XR, scan fairly similar. So the point that I was trying to make is that if you're always scanning short range, the SR is probably going to be your best choice. And the reason is you're probably going, whoa, these two scanned the same, but this one did better at about 6 feet. Well, the XR is more expensive than the SR. So if you're always scanning up close, like it's a shipping application or a picking application or a packing application, SR is going to be the choice for you. However, if you're in an application that does a ton of close-up scanning, but periodically you need to reach out a little bit, then you go with the XR. It's a little bit more expensive than the SR. Otherwise, you would always go with this and never buy the SR. Now we're going to go downtown. We're going to scan these barcodes at 15 feet out. First, we're going to do it with the XR. Make sure I got the right one. Put my glasses on. That was the XR. And that was the 1981. You'll notice they scan very similar up to 15 feet. You'll find that true up to about 30 feet, depending on the barcode. But outside of 30 feet, that's the domain of the 1980. The XR won't scan that far. So if you've got an application, I'm going to sort of summarize this, where you're never going to scan more than arm's length, your best value is the SR scan engine. If there's an opportunity for you to increase performance by not only scanning great up close, but scanning up to, say, 30 feet, then the XR is probably worth the additional money to buy the XR scan engine. Now, if you've got an application that's outside of 30 feet, even if it's 99% up close, but 1% of the time it's at 50 feet, the only option is the 1981 AR, the all-range engine. And so that's really the differences. Again, big price, not big price differences, but the SR is cheaper than the XR, which is cheaper than the 1981. So hopefully that that helps you. I'm going to read some of these notes, make sure I didn't, okay, we're good. Now I want to sort of highlight really what makes our Granite line so special. First off, the key, I mean, when you're scanning good barcodes, pretty much any scanner works fine. It's on the fringes where a lot of these scanners are differentiated, where you have bad barcodes or digital barcodes or bad lighting. That's where one scanner outperforms another. But that's a rare instance. Generally, you're scanning pretty good barcodes. And so what I always tell folks when I'm talking to them, it's more about the reliability of the scanner, especially in industrial environments. The higher, the better the reliability, the lower the total cost of ownership for that scanner. And we at Honeywell feel that our scanner definitely has the highest reliability, thus the lowest total cost of ownership. And I'm going to explain why. First off, the durability specs. If you ever look at our data sheets, we have the best durability specs in the industry. Our drop specs, our tumble specs, our IP rating stronger than any other scanner out there. And so that's testing to get to those specs. They're very specific, but they are class leading specs. We also, the plastics that we use on these devices, they're flexible. I've seen advertisements by competitive scanners where they talk about how hard their plastics are and how tough they are. The problem with that is when you drop one of those scanners and you have hard plastics, all of that energy is transferred into the internal electronics, and you have a much higher chance of electronics failing further down the road. So we like, and we purposely design our scanners with flexible plastics. We also, the plastics that we used are meant to be used across a broad range. I'm getting IAMP like crazy, and I wish I could turn that off. Hold on. What that basically, when you drop a scanner in, say, 0 degrees, it's a lot different than dropping a scanner at, say, 72, 73 degrees. And so the plastics that we use are not only tested, but they're meant to be used at temperature range, which is very important. Finally, this is also very important. This scan window here, it's tiny. It's buried deep within the scanner. And for those of you that understand this 2D technology that people use now, there's a camera behind that piece of glass back there. And if that scan window gets dirty or scratched up, it's harder for that camera to take a picture, and then it makes it tougher on the software that's in the scanner to decipher that barcode. And the fact that we have that thing way deep in our scanner, tiny, ruggedized, it's hardened glass, to crack that glass, you're gonna have to deliberately do it with a screwdriver. You're gonna have to go in there and scratch it up intentionally. There are a lot of competitive scanners out there that have that glass right here on the window, on the right up here up front. And they probably do that because it may help them achieve some performance metrics. But the problem with that is that window gets scratched pretty quickly. People are putting that thing down, it's just getting scratched, and eventually, pretty quickly, that's gonna be a scratched piece of glass. You're trying to take a picture through that scratched glass, and it's gonna degrade the performance of the scanner. I've been in warehouses where people that have scanners with their glasses up front, the employees, they're paid for performance, they will break out that glass because it's slowing down their picking process in order to speed it back up. The problem, of course, with that is you're now exposing the insides, the internal guts of that scanner to the outside world. So that's not a good solution to solving for a scratched lens. So those 4 things, the class-leading specs, durability specs, the flexible plastics, the plastics engineered for use across broad temperature ranges, and this recessed hardened scanner window are what really make this product the most reliable there is in the industry, which means a lower total cost of ownership for you. I think that's it for me. I'm going to hand it back to Jody.
Thank you so much, Mark. There's one thing that I appreciate. It's people who have a ton of passion for what they do. And I think that's really clear to everyone who was just listening to that demonstration. Really appreciate you also cleaning up your basement. It looked amazing. Really
Thank you.
I'm actually broadcasting from our space here in Baltimore, Maryland. This is our services area and our warehouse. So I thought I'd mix up the location for you. And next we have Scott. So Scott, if you would join me on camera, tell us where you're coming to us live from, a little bit about yourself, and also the new products that you have on tap for us. Scott?
Hey there, everybody. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm going to share my screen here just really quickly. I'm not going to pepper you with PowerPoint here, but got a couple pictures for you. Let's see if I can figure out Zoom. Here we are. Share. Okay. Jody, can you guys see a picture of my screen? I think I am. Okay, so I got a couple interesting announcements. First, I know a lot of folks are using the CK65 computer in their warehouses. And I'm happy to say that we've gotten a lot of feedback. The product's doing great, by the way. I think we launched it and at the beginning of 2019. It took off in 2019. 2020 was a great year for it. And then here in 2020, we've gotten a lot of feedback from people about things they'd like to see in the next phase of the product. And so we've made those changes in response to your feedback. So I'm just going to start at the top there. As you know, there's a scan engine in the CK65 called the Flex Range Scan Engine. This is a great mid-range scan engine. It can read a code 39 100 mil barcode label at 10 meters or a little over 30 feet. And the beauty of it is that it's really small and lightweight. It's the size of the tip of your finger, so it's not one of those big bulky, kind of like warts that sits at the end of a big warehouse device. It's really lightweight, it's small, so you maintain the ergonomics and the balance of the device for those mid-range use cases. In fact, I'll just comment that that flex range engine is small enough that it can actually go in pocket-sized devices. So I think GW is going to demonstrate in a little while one of our devices, the CT440 device with a flex range engine in it, and you'll be able to see how that range works. But now the Flex Range XLR is a new flex range. It's the second generation flex range engine, and this is the longest range in the industry, to the best of my knowledge. I've never seen an engine that goes farther than this. I think it's a record setter, 80 feet. Now you might ask, oh, why do I need 80 feet? My ceiling in my warehouse is still only 35 or 40 feet. You know, my fourth pallet rack is only so high. Why do I need 80 feet? Well, you don't need 80 feet. What you do need, though, is margin. So you've got people, you know, in your warehouse, you've got varying light conditions. You're trying to read barcodes at an angle, maybe skewed off in this direction. You're trying to read, you want to be able to read quickly and have a snappy response. And so when you have that 80-foot range capability, it's like having a car that can do 0 to 60 in 5 seconds. You're not going to really use that on the highway without getting a ticket, but you are going to enjoy that when you're trying to merge onto the highway. And so you'll have that capability. And this flex range engine is just like the original flex range, is small, again, size of the tip of your finger, which means it doesn't add extra weight, doesn't add size, doesn't create this top heaviness that creates fatigue for the user. And so not only will it go in the CK65, but we're also later in the year going to start putting it in the CT60, which is the touchscreen, ultra rugged touchscreen device, because we're seeing a lot more users start to look at using touch-oriented, cloud-oriented warehouse management software, and they're interested in doing those with touchscreen devices. So you'll see that super long-range flex range scan engine, record-setting range in both our CK65 first and our CT60 a little bit later. And you're going to see those CK65 devices in distribution right around in September. So we're letting you know a little in advance. Samples will be available over the next couple of months, limited numbers of samples. And then it'll be available to actually take in September. So, and then just underneath that in this picture is the new rugged scan handle. So some of the feedback we got was the scan handle just really wasn't cutting it. It wasn't rugged enough. It wasn't frankly comfortable enough. And so we did a complete redesign. We updated the industrial design, and you'll see it's got a really nice structure to it in terms of the shape, fits the palm really well. It's got this soft over mold, so it's not hard plastic, but what actually contacts your palm is on the soft side. And it's also got a special mechanical anchoring mechanism, that long screw in the bottom, that really makes it anchor tightly. So once you've installed this scan engine, it's almost like having a fully integrated device, but you still have the flexibility of using the device with or without the scan engine, sorry, not the scan engine, the handle. If you don't want to use that handle, you can take it off. If you do want to use it, you can put it on, and it's just like having an integrated scan handle. And then just kind of going clockwise, one of the questions that a lot of you have asked us for is, you've told us that you'd really like to have the ability to take pictures with the device in cold storage environments. You know, you have damaged shipments, damaged packages. You need to take a photo of that to record that. Now we have a camera in our cold storage devices, so you can take pictures in those situations. We also added 2 new keyboards. So we're starting to take share from some of our competitors, and we're really pleased with that. The combination of price and performance is really just perfect. But some of the feedback we got is we'd be even more successful at that if we provided a couple of new keyboards that had certain characteristics that users of those competitive devices are used to. So, you know, they've got that muscle memory. They know exactly where those arrow keys are, exactly where those functions are. They use them all the time in a particular manner. And so why don't we provide keyboards that emulate those keyboard layouts? So we have a new 53 key alphanumeric keyboard and a 42 key numeric function keyboard that are intended for that purpose. And so you'll be able to switch from those competitive devices to this new, more advanced CK65 with more ease. New software that does multi-code barcode scanning, shown at the bottom. On the left-hand side, new RFID keyboard wedge software. So when you read RFID, the RFID data comes in to the device as if it were tapped in by a keyboard. And of course, the latest version of Android 10. And one thing I'll say about Mobility Edge products is, as you know, one of the defining characteristics of Mobility Edge products is that we support every single operating system version. So continuous, unbroken support of every operating system version. And the original Mobility Edge family, we have guaranteed support all the way out to Android 12. And we will support Android 13 if it proves to be feasible. We're just waiting for Google to tell us what the feature set is. So this product will support out to Android 12 guaranteed. Android 13 we're committed to if it's feasible. So the device is shipping with Android 10 now. Next year it'll be 11 and so on. So you can count on always having the latest security, the latest functionality available to you, because we'll support every single Android version. And if you look at pretty much all of our competitors, what you find is that their support for operating systems is gappy. They've skipped entire operating systems, or they are non-committal about what operating systems they'll support in the future. They'll say something on a data sheet like, we support Android 10 and we'll support a future version. We'll let you know when that happens. For us, we guarantee it. Android 12 is guaranteed. Android 13, we're committed to if it's feasible. So I hope that is valuable to you. And I look forward to having these new CK65 devices start to hit distribution in September. And then the other product that we announced yesterday is the CT45. So the CT45 is, if you're familiar with the CT40, the CT45 is a new, more rugged version of the CT40. So with the CT45, what we've done is we've taken that 4-foot drop spec on the CT40, which, by the way, is a strong 4 feet, meaning if you look at the statistics, it's actually more rugged than most of our competitors who also claim 4 feet. And we've now extended it to a 6-foot drop spec. And you can see some of the characteristics. If you're familiar with the CT40, you can see the kind of the enhanced overmold, the better bezel, but there are also things on the inside of the device. We've learned a lot over the years about ruggedness, how to make a device rugged. And it's not just a matter of slapping rubber on the outside of the device. It's about choosing the right adhesives. It's about the way you mount components on the inside. I think Mark DeSams a moment ago was talking about the fact that if you have a hard plastic device and you drop it on concrete, all of that shock is transmitted to the interior of the device. Well, it's the same thing with a mobile computer. And so what you want to do is you want to anticipate that and design it on the inside to be able to absorb that damage. And so as a result, this device can survive a 6-foot drop to concrete. And we have a hard rubber boot that if you put the hard rubber boot on it, it becomes an 8-foot device. So it's still lightweight, 280 grams or so, a lot lighter than most ultra rugged devices, but super rugged. And among the other new attributes that it has is Wi-Fi 6. So Wi-Fi 6 is, right now, most devices are operating on Wi-Fi 5. Wi-Fi 6 is a major leap forward. And the main reason it's a major leap forward is its ability to support more devices and handle crowded situations effectively. So if you have like a big retail store or a warehouse with a lot of users, Wi-Fi 6 is going to allow you to kind of chop up those packets, chop up that communication, distribute it across more spectrum, and communicate more effectively with higher quality of service and better reliability of connectivity for your and roaming performance. So we have Wi-Fi 6 in the device. Let's see what else. I talked about flex range is in this device. Quick charge, Qualcomm Quick Charge is in there. And one other thing I'd like to say is that CT45 is our first device on our new Mobility Edge processor. And you may have noticed Qualcomm's press release that came out yesterday. They announced a whole new family of processors. This is the first device on the market with this new processor. And what it's going to allow us to do is to deliver better performance because it's got a much beefier AI engine, third generation AI engine, and a much beefier GPU. And you may not feel like you need AI right now, but I can tell you that this device already uses artificial intelligence. It uses artificial intelligence in the scanning algorithm, and it uses artificial intelligence in the battery management. In fact, if you've used our operational intelligence software, you have the benefit of AI enhanced battery management. And so in the future, new software is going to take advantage of this. Edge processing, AI machine learning capable edge processing, more intensive graphics and that sort of thing. And the CT45 is future-proof for that because it's got the latest processor for that kind of application. And as a result of the new application, now, unlike our original Mobility Edge family, which goes all the way out to Android 13, this one goes out to Android 15. So we're guaranteed to 13, and we're committed to delivering 14 and 15, again, provided Google can tell us what the feature set is. So a lot of new value, a lot of forward-looking capability in this device. I tell you, I've noticed there are kind of two customers in the world. There are customers who, they want to buy, they're willing to buy throwaway devices, frankly. And I don't use the term throwaway in a derogatory sense. I use it in the sense that that is actually described to me by an actual user, by one of you, by a customer of ours. And they said, we want to buy throwaway devices because we're going to replace them every 2 years because we want them to be cheap, cheap, cheap. And this customer didn't really invest a lot of money in solutions. They just wanted to use devices for basic functionality, and they want to replace them every 2 years. In fact, they lost so many devices through theft and breakage that they figured they could replace everything every couple of years anyway. The difference, though, is other customers that these Mobility Edge devices are aimed at are customers who spend a lot of brain power and a lot of money creating complex solutions to solve their business problems because they want competitive advantage in their marketplaces. And those customers don't want to build their solutions on a platform, on a mobility platform that is a throwaway device. They want to build on a durable, long-lasting, secure platform, and that's what the CT45 offers. So please do check out that Qualcomm press release and give it a read. And one thing you'll notice on there is 5G. They have new 5G processors. So you might want to know, what are we doing about 5G? So Honeywell has 5G products coming in 2022. But let me talk a little bit about when you want to use 5G and when you don't want to use 5G. The fact of the matter is 5G adds really very little value in the kind of the standard use cases that most 4G mobility devices are being used in. So the guy who comes to your door to deliver a package, he's in the United States, there's a good chance he's got a Honeywell device in his hands. And when he comes to your door, it's a Honeywell, it's a 4G device, and he does not need a 5G device. And that company that does that delivery really doesn't want to spend extra money for 5G to get added performance for more money that they're really not going to use. They already have a high-powered device, 100-mile-an-hour device. They really don't need a 110-mile-an-hour device because they're on a 55-mile-an-hour highway. However, the higher throughput and lower latency that 5G offers will become really valuable in devices where you can really use that high throughput and that lower latency. So we're talking about augmented reality, we're talking about natural language voice processing, that kind of thing. And Honeywell is working on products, and I can't say too much about it now, but Honeywell is working on products that'll take advantage of those characteristics in terms of augmented and virtual reality and natural language voice. So if you could just imagine people with a really super enhanced man-machine interface working in a warehouse, so they're even more productive now. Their hands are free, they're talking to the computer, they're seeing a heads-up display, that kind of thing. That's what we're talking about. Now, so then you might ask the question, well, okay, when should I use 5G and when should I use 4G? Well, you want to use 5G when you have that new hardware and those new use cases that take advantage of low latency and high throughput. You might want to use 5G. The other exception cases, you might want to use 5G for private cellular, CBRS in the United States, called CBRS, Citizens Band Radio Service, I think that means. So in certain scenarios where you have large facilities, you can actually replace Wi-Fi with private cellular. You can do that with 4G now, but it's going to be easier to do with 5G. And so we are working on products that will launch in 2022 that can be used in those situations. Again, I can't be too specific about what models, but if you have like a very large warehouse where you're going to replace a whole bunch of Wi-Fi access points with 1 or 2 5G access points, we'll have the products you need for that warehouse in 2022. So where you want to use 4G though is if you think about it, 4G is really maturing now. We're well down the user experience curve. Costs are coming down, prices are better, performance is better, risk is lower. So if you have applications where you don't need 5G, you should stay on 4G and reap those benefits. If you need 5G, Honeywell's here to provide you with those products. And so Jody, I think that's what I've got for today. I'm happy to answer any questions if they come up. And really pleased to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
It was awesome, Scott. Thank you so much. Really appreciated the wealth of knowledge you brought to the table today. It's probably very clear to our audience that Honeywell has amazing innovations coming out, and certainly we'll make a lot of this available to you after this call. So if you still have questions, you can shoot them to us. Of course, you still have the chat, so feel free to pop questions in the chat and we'll get to those at the end after our next presentation. As you can see, I've moved locations again. I'm here in Barcoding's foyer, so our welcome area, and we're basically back to the conference room where we started, and we're going to go find GW and do a couple more demos for you. So this way, please. All right, let's find GW. Oh, there he is. Excellent.
Hi, Jody. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'll pass the baton.
So thank you. What we're going to go through now is our CT40. So as you look at the CT40, it's our full touch device. The drop spec on this particular one is 4 feet. So as I turn it on, units up and on, I want to show you the flexibility of what we can do with this through our accessories. One of the first things we have here is this is our Exoskeleton Boot. This is the gateway that allows this product to go into other accessories. So you're going to see here, I'm going to pop this on in the back, then pop it on the front. One of the things that this does right away is take it from a 4-foot drop spec to a 6-foot drop spec. So with this, we increase drop spec. Also, with this particular case, you can remove the battery without taking the case off. You can also, all of our the chargers for this unit can be ordered with boot acceptable chargers, so it does not have to come off the charge. So one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to scan just like Mark did. My scanning is nowhere near as exciting as his, but I'm going to show you some scanning. So down here, you can see this unit, very snappy at a close range. This is used as a handheld unit currently. So what we can do with this, when the boot is on, it will now accept the scan handle. So now we have a hands-free scan handle. Same scanning, triggering the same scanner. So what we can do is pop this back off, ring scanning. So this is our ring scanning sled accessory. In the same boot, this goes onto the unit and clips in. In a second here, you'll hear it power on. Turn this. Now the ring scanner has powered on. So this unit will maintain the same battery life you'd expect with standard scanning, because now we're triggering the ring scanner. So as you can see here, we can run through that. So when we power this unit, when we open it up, same pop-up keyboards, and it'll integrate into your application. So I will show you with it on my arm. So the unit's on, goes onto your finger and scans. Now, with keeping this in mind, everybody knows cleanliness. Now, so this piece here, which has the straps on it, can be taken apart independently of the ring scanner. This allows your users to clean this, and then also we've seen a lot of customers assign this to individual users as a non-shared item, and then have shared this piece as shared with the rest of the team. These then just snap right back onto the device. As you can see here, we're back on standard device, back into the hands-free setting. I'm going to move my demo board. You heard both Mark and Scott talk about long-range demos. So I'm going to take this same demo board and I'm going to move it down to this end of the room. There's a pretty good chance it's going to fall on me here. Looks like it's holding.
Yeah, I'll be here just in case it falls. So
Okay.
I'll watch
Hopefully
it.
I don't shine at you. I put our scan handle back on. As you can see, the Flex Range CT40 is going to give you, we're right now about 15 feet on this one. You can see the snappiness of the scanner. There we go.
There it goes.
We knew it was going to happen eventually.
There you go. There you go.
So you can see this. Once again, without the scan handle, as a hands-free device. So this one device, through the boot and through the infrastructure of devices, can go into a ring scanner, can go into a ring scanner, the scan close. Now this one isn't going to read at this distance, because this is triggering this imager that's on the ring scanner. But as you can see here, oh, my barcodes are that way, but you'll have the ability to scan close. And then once again, this easily comes out and goes back to a hand scan. So as we go through this exoskeleton not only increases the drop spec and durability of the device, it also is the gateway that allows all of our accessories to work as well.
So I have a question.
Okay.
So can you talk to us a little bit about how that would help a customer who's planning ahead, right? So you talked about some of the benefits. How does that all work together? If they're planning ahead and saying, how should I strategically, plan for my next iteration of mobile devices in my business?
Sure. So what this is going to allow you is to have multiple form factors for your users in the same facility with the same device.
Nice.
Because we all know, Jody, that I might like a scan handle, you might not like a scan handle. You may have a high pick area, so you're going to want to use the hands-free picking because you want to keep your hands free, you want to be able to move in and out, and you like that. So in the past, you'd have to buy a specific device for each of those locations, where now this one device is going to do multiple areas in your workforce. Also, with the Flex Range imager, you're able to push out at that longer distance, so you're not buying dedicated units just for long range and dedicated units for short range. So the flexibility of this device gives you a lot of opportunities.
That's awesome.
So another thing,
Katie, can I jump in there real quick?
sure.
So that Flex Range engine is the same engine that's our Granite XR, and all those things that were so eloquently described as advantages applied to that XR Granite. So he did a better job than me. I just want to pick up on what he just said. The advantages of the XR.
Thanks. Mark. So as you can see, we're taking our scan engines and using them across product lines. So we're can expect that consistency. One of the things that we've heard in the past with full touch devices, we know a lot of the users now that are coming into the warehouse, everyone's walking around with a smartphone. So one of the drawbacks, this is my personal opinion, but one of the drawbacks of moving the full touch devices in the warehouse has been the ability to scan at distance. This is where the Flex range now allows your application, your user experience to be down to your full touch, but still allow you to scan the second and third shelf up on a warehouse rack. So by bringing that in, it's really changed the game on our handheld devices, on our full touch handheld devices with the Flex range scan engine.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate everybody who's brought so much good information to the table today. I'm obviously not on my laptop. I have a trusty videographer right now. But if there are questions in the chat, she will let me know. If you do have questions for our team, go ahead and put them in there. I just wanted to kind of open it up. So if the other panelists want to come back on camera with us, that'd be great. Like I said, we're still here in Baltimore. Okay, Judy was going to come over and join me. I did, so I know that Scott mentioned it, but did you want to talk a little bit about cold storage? Because we get that question a lot, and I think that there's maybe a belief in the industry that there's not a lot of options in cold storage. So do you want to talk a little bit about?
Sure.
Elaborate a little more?
I'm going to phone a friend here a little bit with Scott, but we have multiple devices that fit in the cold storage that have the frosters and the screens. Yeah. So they can work in that environment for extended periods of time. We heard Scott say that we're launching our new cold storage camera, which when you're in that environment, if there is pallet breaks or if there's things that you need to take pictures of, in the past, we weren't able to do that. And now we are with this new one. Scott, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I can just kind of survey the cold storage options that we have. So one is the CK65, as I talked about, has cold storage capability. And if you ask what that means, it's got the ability to sense temperature changes and basically turn on a heater to protect against fogging of the screen and of the scan engine and the camera and so on. So what we've done most recently with the CK65 is we put in a camera in the cold storage devices with a heater, so it doesn't get fogged up, so you can now take those pictures. Again, as I was saying earlier, we get a lot of feedback from customers. We talk to customers all the time, and I get on the phone with customers and also my sales team all the time to just quiz them. What makes the product work for you? What makes the product not work for you? And one of the pieces of feedback I got was, hey, when I'm doing cold storage, I want to take pictures of things and I can't because your cold storage version doesn't have the camera. So we fixed that. We also have and by the way, I just want you to know the CK65 is super rugged, 10-foot drop spec. You drop this thing on concrete, it bounces like a basketball. So I don't encourage you to try that, but it really is super, super rugged. So it's really ideal for these cases where there's a real kind of rough and tumble knock around environment. We also have the CN80 product, which is a kind of a low flyer, but it's also super, super rugged. It's got a hybrid keyboard, not the full keyboard, but a hybrid keyboard. And that has cold storage capability. Now, for those of you who want to do stuff on the forklift, we've got vehicle mount devices, super ultra rugged computers that mount on the forklift, the VM3 and the VM1, also available in Mobility Edge versions now. So the CK65, the VM3, the VM1, they all run the same operating system image. And those have cold storage versions, also indoor-outdoor versions. So you've got cold storage covered there. By the way, I will say that very often when people are using these devices in the forklift, these super, super ultra rugged vehicle mountable computers, you're often using that granite scanner that Mark was talking about, right? So you've got the granite scanner in a holster. You've got the VM3A up here. You can see in front of you. You need to scan something, you pop the scanner out, you scan it from 15 or 20 feet away. So it all just works seamlessly, works in the cold storage environment. What am I missing, GW? I think I covered it all. Yeah, I did.
Let me throw in a comment about the scanners. All the scanners are freezer rated. However, if you're going to be going in and out of the freezer a lot up to a loading dock or where there's a chance of condensation developing, you're probably going to be better served with a heated boot along with that scanner. And we sell the heated boots, and that just keeps your scanner free and clear of condensation. We don't have
I use heated boots when I go skiing.
yeah, we don't have heated scan windows because it just draws too much power for a typical scanner.
So,
Cool.
Thank you guys for that.
Yeah. Thanks.
Really appreciate you diving into our line. We're here to help and support if you have unique applications and want a Honeywell and barcoding rep to come out and look.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully everyone learned a ton today. Barcoding is here. So if this did seem overwhelming, or you really want to dive into your particular processes and your particular users to get the best results, just call barcoding and we can come and help you map out a strategy with our partner Honeywell and really try to put together a nice process for continuous improvement. As you can see, something that Scott said really stuck out to me, and this concept of I would just like a cheap device is something I would think about, and the TCO commentary is perfect, right? But something else to think about is there's nothing more powerful that's driving your business forward than your data, right? So one of the core areas to not cheap out on is how do we get the data, and then how do we get that data to be the most usable for us. There's nothing that disrupts an organization more, maybe outside of global pandemics, than not having access to that data. So definitely think about this equipment as being the driving force, the backbone foundation for how you get data into your organization and put it to use for you. And I think when you look at it that way, it starts to become much more powerful. And at barcoding, we do believe that it's all about process, people, and technology. So we are going to think through that workflow. We are going to think about that mobile user's experience. And as GW's mentioned, right, not every user is the same. So we want to think through all those things. And obviously, Honeywell is bringing so much to the table. It makes our jobs easier. And then finally, if you hadn't had enough, barcoding also can help you deploy and support. So it's not a sales pitch. It's just saying, hey, we'd love to help. And hopefully you've enjoyed your time with us live here today. I think I can't see Mark and Scott. This is all new for us, this format, but thank you so much, Mark. Thank you so much, Scott. We really appreciated you being here.
Pleasure.
Scott, you were just on a huddle with me, so you know that I like to end most of my events with people with kind of a quick summary. So I'm not going to put you on the spot. Actually, no, yes, I am. I'm going to put you on the spot, and I'm going to start with Mark. If you had to sum up from today, from your presentation today, one key takeaway from the audience, Mark, what would it be?
I think that when you're making a decision on what industrial scanner to put into your facility, think more about the reliability of that scanner versus the performance, because at this day and age, most of these scanners perform the same with most barcodes out there. It's going to be the differentiator is the reliability of the scanner. What good is an industrial scanner if in 6 months you got to replace it?
Yeah, love it. Reliability. Think reliability first. Great. Scott, how about you?
Yeah, actually, it's easy for me. Like I was saying, the majority of our customers, they spend a lot of time thinking about and developing solutions. And usually it involves considerable money, certainly involves tons of brain power, software engineering effort, help from partners like Barcodes. What I find, and I know, sorry, what I find is it's really, really important for you to choose a platform to build on that's durable, reliable. It's going to be there for the long haul. And when I say durable, I don't mean just ruggedness that Mark was just talking about, but I also mean durable in the long-term sense. So over time, it's going to be durable. And so part of durability means the devices are rugged, and so they last for a long time, but also it means guaranteed operating system support. It means processors and componentry that's future-proofed, aimed for the future. And the idea is when you buy something today, you want to still get value out of it in 3 or 4 years. You don't have to buy new stuff every 3 years and redo your software every 3 years. You want to rely on a platform. And so that's our whole contribution, is delivering that durable platform for you to build on, that foundation.
Love it. Thank you so much. And I gave you the most time to think about this. So GW, what's your key takeaway?
Key takeaway for me is, as we have different users in the warehouse, the ability to pick a form factor that's going to work best for individuals is going to make those people more productive. So think about your user experience on top of thinking about just purchasing devices and workflow. So
I love it. People first, that's what we like to say, right?
Yep.
So, great. Well, I hope you enjoyed our time today with Honeywell. We really appreciate it. As always, you can visit us on barcoding.com, follow us on all of our social channels. We always have lots of good programming coming up. And you may not have known this, but this event is part of our Celebration of Innovation Month. And so this is all leading up to a brand new holiday, National Barcode Day. So we hope that you stay with us and stay tuned for more. And I thought, since GW and I both play volleyball, that a really fitting way to end this live, he doesn't know this is coming, to end this live session would be with a big high five.
I'm in.
Excellent. All right.
So thank you.
Thank you all very much, and we'll see you next
Thanks for
time.
coding.